Thank you for meeting us back here, where a single game will decide who goes to Worlds as North America's #3 seed, TSM or Clutch Gaming. Coming up to this game, Clutch has now 44 games since these playoff series have started. That's pretty insane.
Actually insane. That's way longer than I thought it was going to be.
I think that's regular season as well, but still,
I was like, give me playoffs, and they're like 44. I was like, wait, that's all season.
I mean, it's more playoff games played by a significant margin than they played all split long. So you want to talk about experience? They packed a year's worth of experience into a month.
And in the end, it all comes down to one single game. You win this one game, you are in Worlds for either team. That is going to be insane pressure. Coaching staff needs to set them up with a good mindset. Head into the game with the level 1 prepared off of this draft. This is where it all comes down to the line.
And you have to think the only team that's ever gone through this is Cloud9. So we're now going to get a first one through the gauntlet who finds themselves getting prepped up and showing what they can do all the way to Worlds. Is it going to be Clutch for their first time around to find that and be the NA representative, or does TSM find their road back to Worlds and regain that composure that we know them so much for?
It honestly feels a lot like a battle of the old and the new, right? You know, Clutch has been on the rise so heavily this split. You know, such an exciting team. People really starting to stand up and take notice of this play style. Really explosive team fights. The Qiyana, the Rumble, getting so much popularity for that. But coming into the gauntlet, people thought they were figured out, and they have brought out new picks and constantly tried to innovate and continue to push the boundaries there. Where TSM, this has been the most successful North American team ever, and they are now trying to get back to Worlds and really do need to have, I think, an incredible performance from their star player, Bjergsen.
Absolutely. You kind of think of them as the kind of the Yankees of the LCS. They'll always be somewhere towards the world title, have the most world titles. Well, a bit of that's falling away now, and not so true anymore. So we'll see what they can pick up as we're finishing off bans here for Clutch.
And they opt to change it. They want to ban out the Ezreal, the safe AD carry with the poke. I mean, Cody Sun landing all these skill shots was so detrimental to TSM. That was a big part of chunking down Sejuani in the Baron pit, but they steal away the Skarner instead of banning it.
Mind you, though, this is the first time Spica has played not Sejuani, right? You know, so he's on a different pick here. Huni with a little bit of what face there, but you know, I'm gonna be interested to see, are we gonna see a grab of something like this Aatrox? Are they worried about TSM, you know, having a counter ready for that? Sejuani is available, but Clutch feeling more comfortable with a more proactive jungler, a more early game jungler. They are just going to go straight to that Jarvan, and Lira has been solid on it.
Able to get the engages. We know he's not afraid to go in as he does on the Skarner, and this will be Spica's first unique pick for the season on that play. We know him for, as you said, the Sej and the Jarvan. He's looking at the other champion he plays across on the Rift now. Second pick up here for Clutch. They are using all the time they have for each one of these selections, and it is going to be the Tahm Kench locked in.
All right, they really value that Devour, trying to keep Cody Sun safe. And since the Ezreal's not there, they're still going to pick up a possible save here. I mean, both Saya and Kai'Sa, a very, very high priority marksman down here. Looks like TSM might opt for the Kai'Sa side of it.
I wonder if they go back to Sivir. You know, Sivir had been really big for them throughout the regular season. I do think that there's a possibility to go back to something like that, you know, play it more just for the wave clear rather than the additional range. I do think that would also make sense alongside the Tahm Kench. The obvious extra pick there is the Xayah if they wanted to go Xayah TK. But that being said, I feel like Sivir may fit better.
I like it. I remember the game right after Cody Sun and the team won that, where he just played Sivir and over, and Abli asked him, why not more Sivir? And he's like, I just didn't want to play it anymore. I played so much Sivir, so man, we know he's good on it, and maybe he will lock it in this game. That Corki finally gets through for Bjergsen, and that is a huge pickup for the man in the mid lane.
I think this is actually super smart. You pick your mid laner here, now you're forcing Clutch to choose. Do you want a priority marksman, or do you want to counterpick the mid lane? Because if you don't counterpick mid lane right here, TSM can ban some of the tougher matchups out to try to protect that Corki. And if you do go for your mid lane matchup, which it looks like they are going to go for, then now you're going to have Cody Sun getting pushed down further and further, and maybe he's not going to have a good pairing alongside that Tahm Kench, because you can ban out things like this Xayah, you can ban out things like that Sivir, and then the question is, where does he go?
Caitlyn's always an option as well for Cody. See if classic Tristana makes another appearance. Definitely has a few more in the bag.
Yeah.
High priority there, though, on the Irelia. It has been so big for both Damonte and Huni. Key part about getting that in the first round, and I really do agree with Clutch's choice here not to pick the marksman and grabbing this flex pick Irelia for themselves. It's going to provide a lot of extra pressure.
Cody Sun does have a Jinx under his belt. Jinx Tahm Kench, a great bottom lane to have, as well as setting people up in that Jarvan Cataclysm, just shooting fish in a barrel. Bans are coming from both sides still, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Zaya banned out. So they've already banned out the Sivir. TSM certainly going to target that. And really, you know, most of his most played by far are going to be taken away. You know, you look at Zaya 12 plays, Sivir 10 plays, you know, Kaisa 7 plays coming into today. And then beyond that, it's down to like 2 for Lucian. It is his next most played with the Ezreal banned out. So, you know, that does become, you know, falling down pretty far in your champion pool. I don't think you want to go Lucian because that's not super aggressive. You could look to something like the Caitlyn, but generally Caitlyn wants to be paired with someone else who can help to push and attack the turrets. Jinx, yes, that's an option, but certainly not a tremendous amount of safety. Can be vulnerable to something like the Skarner. So going to be interested to see where they decide to actually go here. But Zaya is left up, so TSM not worried about it, and I think that's the obvious choice now for Clutch. You just grab Zaya here and you save your solo for last.
Still have that Qiyana, but that's no fun against the range in the mid lane to start things off, even if you can get out of lane there. Looking around, 4 seconds left, not a pick, just a hover, and they're gonna wait on this one. We'll see if it does get locked in, and it is getting locked in! The Kog'Maw for Cody Sun coming through, a unique pick on the season. As Azale was just saying his picks, we did get a Zed on him, but not a Kog'Maw.
And a big part about Kog'Maw too is he's got a splash of AP damage in there. So it can help to balance out if Clutch want to run more AD everywhere. They've already got Jarvan and Irelia locked in. And this is going to be a big, big source.
I also kind of like the read. When you're looking at TSM's comp, you're saying, all right, Corki, Kaisa, you want to fight front to back, right? And if they're going to fight front to back, well, guess what's great into that? Kog'Maw can slay frontliners. A lot of percentage HP damage with the W, with Blade of Rune King, built up early on. That can be very powerful. You have some protection here from the Tahm Kench. And it's feeling like that is the kind of plan here for TSM, unless they grab a dive buddy, you know, to put up on Broken Blade, but it will be the Aatrox. So as long as Cody Sun is actually kept safe, it's this 3-man front line that Cody Sun can build Hurricane into, can fire out onto, and Qiyana last pick. Wow.
Awesome, I love it. That's still going to be a tough lane unless they try to switch it around and maybe he tries to fight Broken Blade on that top side. Thought even a Zillion may be cool as we saw him at a hover previously for what could go in here, but we don't see Damonte playing any of that for this comp. Would have been fun, but we have him locked in. 40 seconds, gents. How you feeling about the composition?
Yeah, I am actually very, very excited. I was expecting some sort of AD threat, like Qiyana coming in since they have the Kog'Maw there to bounce it out, and they have their explosive champions that they're looking for. These are the champions people associated with the success of Clutch Gaming. They're gonna live and die by it. Meanwhile, TSM, they locked in that Aatrox again for Broken Blade. They got Bjergsen, the Corki this time around. Keep your eyes on the packages. Keep your eyes on Spica here on a new champion. In game number 5, must win, go to Worlds game. Can he make it happen? The key polls.
And we've got to watch the top lane so closely because last time we saw this matchup, Jarvan went up there early and it was a disaster for TSM. Broken Blade got pushed so far out of there and really the game spiraled out of control from that.
Junglers are really going to have a highlight on them. Skarner is such a key champion in trying to deal with the solo laners of Clutch Gaming as well. That ultimate, such a hard thing for Qiyana or Irelia to deal with. And we shall see who rises to the top when it matters.
This is the occasion. You're right, Kobe. Who will rise to it? TSM or Clutch Gaming with Worlds on the line. We are into game 5.
It's such an interesting set of compositions here. You know, TSM wants to do very, very standard stuff. It's front to back. You have 3 frontliners. You have the 2 marksmen doing damage. Clutch has 3 dive buddies, and then Kog'Maw who wants to sit back with the Tahm Kench and stay safe.
And let's hear from ThinkCard about how they feel about that Kog'Maw pick for Mavli as well.
Thanks, guys. I am here with ThinkCard. Wanted to pick your brain on the Kog'Maw pick because, again, Clutch Gaming keeps surprising us.
Yeah, so Kog'Maw is generally a good matchup into the... please live Huni. Nice. So Kog'Maw is a good matchup into the Kai'Sa with the Vamp Scepter. Once you get it, you do get Perma Lane Prio, and you can kind of stat check the Kai'Sa the whole game. But at this point, it's all up to the players. Whichever team plays best is obviously going to win the series.
And we're seeing Spica move off of the Sejuani and first picking that Skarner. So do you think that's going to change up the game at all?
We don't think he's too comfortable on it, but they obviously took it to take it away from us. So I don't expect him to have the most impact on it. But once again, like, it clears pretty fast. It's a pretty easy to use champion. So I don't expect him to be terrible on it.
Well, wishing you the best of luck in this final match. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and it is easy to just press R on an Irelia or Qiyana in a team fight and deny a lot of what these assassins want to do. My personal favorite part about Kog'Maw is that it is a stand and fight AD carry. Doesn't have a lot of escape tools other than those that the teammates will bring. So oftentimes we'll just pop the W, turn on, and try and auto you back to death. See if he can actually do it. That's what ThinkGuard's talking about with the stat check there.
I've got to say, I'm a fan of the mind games from Broken Blade. He steps into the bush and starts taunting, so Huni will step into the bush and start taunting into the invade. That is hilarious.
That's what you need here in Game 5. You can't go in super serial. You do have to be still a little bit relaxed so you can have your game face on when it comes time.
And we are having a mix-up as we have Lira going to invade cross red to blue to steal away the blue from Spica and throw him off of the Skarner game. Spica is doing a red side level 3 clear though. He could actually throw a wrench in the works here and try and affect the bottom lane early as well. Try and worsen the situation for that Kog'Maw. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case though. Just going for the full clear. And they even put a question mark down. They have a possibility, you know, an inkling that there might have been some sort of invade over on that side.
I love seeing the way Damonte's farming out that mid lane with a lot of the grass terrain, able to be invisible for the auto attacks from Bjergsen. And as Qiyana, your W basically covers all 4 of those fire totems on the outsides. You can grab water, you can grab ground, or the grass from basically the middle of the lane. It becomes really easy.
You got me thinking, what if you could grab fire from those little...
Take it and just get a burn.
What,
yeah, get a
what would your fire do? Yeah, probably true damage dot.
It's ignite.
There you go. Let's bring Draven early game back. That's what we want.
Please no.
All right, well, Scuttle Crabs have arrived, so we'll have the junglers probably trading top and bottom Scuttle Crabs. This is going to give security for both the teams where they want it. Clutch want Cody Sun and Vulcan to be unharassed, and he even gets off the Demolish proc. That's a huge amount early on in the game. It's basically half of a turret play every time you're able to get a Demolish proc off, so that's very big for Vulcan there. They want to get that extra money funding the Kog'Maw early on. Meanwhile, talking about them splitting the map, Spica gets full reign on the top half, and they want to try and continue with the mind games with Huni and continue baiting him in. It did work fairly well in the last game.
Yeah, and this isn't warded, so Huni may...
He got tagged.
Flash here, yep.
A little too far into the turret. Did get his flash, though. Good summoner cooldown there to get forward the side of TSM.
And now you need the jungler coming up to the top side if you're Clutch, because Huni, if you TP back into this lane, the lane is actually going to be freezing against you. You have to be able to shove it out. And to do that safely, I mean, he didn't actually know that Spica base. Spica could be in the bush right now, and then you're just dead.
Yeah, he even pinged out the ward there leading up on the brush. Spica has a lot of options, though, because it's a very good situation now for Skarner. You already blew the flash, then you recall to get your boots and your Predator. Predator down lane can be very effective. He's going down lane bottom side first, though, it looks like. Maybe they have a Braum jump in. They're actually pinging on bottom half of the map. Let's go down there because he's hovering behind Smoothie and Zven. Braum can jump to a minion and use that to get a Q off. Predator was actually used, though, and they don't go in for it. So you can see the cooldown on the boots there. No play.
And that is actually a really good kind of situation here from Clutch. You know, with that flash force, oftentimes the top laner is just zoned off the wave, right? It can be really bad. Huni basically just flipped the coin that the jungler wasn't going to be camping in the brush, and it came up his side. He was right, so he's able to clear that out, push it out, reset, and going to be in a pretty decent situation where that could have been very detrimental to his laning phase.
Yeah, your initial thought is that Predator gank is going top. Try and punish the flash that's not there. They're trying to play some mind games, maybe go to bottom to surprise them because Clutch would be thinking a similar thing. But in the end, Predator will go on cooldown, and I think it'll just be another clear of the jungle here. There are 2.5 minutes, by the way, on respawns for small camps. So now it should be a chain respawn and be an easy clear back to the top side for Spica. He can still end up there. You have a full 5 minutes to try and affect that flash.
And the start is so much better now. You know, when you compare to the last time we had this matchup on the top side, you know, Huni in a much worse position. He had to start E level 1 because of the invade. That put him on the back foot for the very beginning. Then he has his flash force. So he was actually way ahead at this point in the game last time around because of that dive and the zoning off of all of that CS. The shoe is kind of on the other foot here now, as you know, Broken Blade is sitting pretty comfortably, and we'll see if Huni can try to create his own lead from this position.
Lira hovering down towards that bot side, but Spica also towards the top. Remember, the flash is down for another 2.5 minutes if they can get under him. Vanguard's edge to slow down, but also give him a charge to dash, but Huni did not dash fast enough, and he goes down to the hands of Spica.
Spica does make good on punishing that flashless Irelia. However, Clutch are taking something in response here, and the Dragon will be payment for the first blood money. Honestly, I do like getting that first blood money on top side. Irelia still is going to be without flash. Whoa, we're gonna get chased through the jungle here. Damonte wants it. That's a Moby Boots Qiyana, and he knows the Skarner's still in here somewhere.
He has the water, so he's gonna get a lockdown on whoever he hits, thinking it would be up towards the brush there. Nice chase, but did not find.
Nice to have a Qiyana with Moby Boots protecting your jungle, kind of running as a security guard through here to scare him off. But here's another look at it. Good start from Broken Blade. They know without the flash, there's no way to dodge it. So Infernal Chains lands, no escape possible for Huni. And they do get that killed. We'll see if the Cloud Drake ends up mattering for them. You know, if they do make use of that extra move speed early on in the game to try and get some gold.
Yeah, certainly could be helpful for Damonte. You know, you pointed out the Moby Boots. He's now going to have even more move speed to be getting out in those side lanes. And the Infernal Chains was honestly just perfectly placed because the only way to actually escape from it was running into the Skarner, right? Which guarantees your death either way. So credit to Spica and Broken Blade making something happen up on that top side. Now a slight advantage given over to TSM up there, and we'll see what they can do with this because you know, Huni has been so good throughout this series in the 1v1, and a lot of the reason that Clutch is able to kind of find the plays that they want, even from a deficit, is because of these side lane advantages. When we think back to the Irelia game, when we think back to the GP game when they were way behind, Huni is having an advantage in the 1v1, and that's opening up map positioning, opening up the ability for them to catch TSM in transition.
We see them have the Ezreal Tahm Kench bot. You know that lane's not going to win, so things have to happen on the other side of the map. Here, the Kog'Maw Tahm Kench, nice and easy to get that early buy-in as it's not too expensive. Xerxes into Dagger, feels good for Kog'Maw.
There is a small thing with timing right now, though. I would want a level 6 Skarner to immediately go Predator this Irelia again, but as you can see in the top right corner there, the flash is coming back off of cooldown. So they won't be able to continue to dig this deep hole for Huni, and he goes bottom again. Instead, he's spreading out his pressure here. I think these bottom visits are actually quite costly. A lot of the super effective, you know, first blood, part of that trade I was talking about with First Blood for Dragon is because you could continue to try and dig away at the top lane and try and build on that success, but not using that level 6 immediate Predator up there means Huni will not have flash.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even if you don't kill him, but you push him out of lane without TP, that's very costly. That's plates going down. That's experience and gold lost from the minions as well. So, you know, the rinse and repeat, often so effective. You know, when you're trying to actually go down to bot side and gank a Tahm Kench who has flash exhaust, Cody Sun has his flash and TP, it's, like, unless they're way overextended, it's a wishful thinking.
Plus, you get the added benefit, it super tilts top laners when you camp them like that.
Oh, you just camping me? Want to cook some hot dogs? 200-300 gold in the favor of TSM. The grab! Oh! Got it. That's going to be Spica's. Nicely done as he smites that one away. And no, actually, Rift Herald does come up. So now they can't complain if he doesn't smite for it. He doesn't have it.
So now we got to check in, actually, on how this 2v2 is going to go with the Kog'Maw Tahm Kench. Because ThinkCard specifically called out, once he has Vamp Scepter, you have priority in the 2v2 forever, essentially. You can stat check your opponent, you're winning in that 2v2. So I'm going to be curious to see if they can utilize that pressure now to try to push out the Kai'Sa and get access to this Rift Herald, because it is TSM setting up in that area right now, but with both bot lanes up on that top side, whoever has 2v2 pressure is going to have the first in on the objective.
And we can see that in the map right now. Already, everybody is heading up for TSM to the Rift Herald. Huni does not have teleport on Irelia, so it looks like FLICKR making the call not to contest this time around. And they're actually seeding it. Because if Huni starts walking up now, it'll be a long time before he gets there.
He's got plates to take too, so that would be a decent trade.
Though.
All the plates and a turret is about equal to 4 kills if you get it yourself. He's not going to be doing that on the bot side. He's actually deciding what to do and missed quite a bit of what would have been gold.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I think this was just a misexecution here from Clutch. If you want to contest, you have to be there way earlier than that. And if you can't contest, as you obviously couldn't, he could have probably knocked down 2 plates here, right? You know, 1 plate is 1 auto away, he'll get that. But the second one is quite a big injection of gold.
How the turntables turn. Who's the Rift Herald team now, Azale?
I love you.
It's actually TSM who did it.
Oh, man. Where are they going to go from here? Map's kind of fizzled out a little bit with 17 seconds to the Cloud Drake, and that's really not going to pull priority out of anybody to get there fast. Maybe Damonte. He wants to go a little bit quicker as he's laced up his shoes this game with the Moby boots real early. The lanes have swapped, though. We will get those duos to the top side here as we're 12 minutes in. Love the dog mob. It's so good. I guess a pug mob.
Really? Can't say I'm a fan of that skin. It's a low tier skin for me.
Used to be friends.
Yeah.
What about 3 versus 1 situations?
With a Vanguard's edge missed, and how about a Damonte? Supreme display of talent. Nicely done.
Damonte's definitely a fan of 3 versus 1 situations. Flashes in on the Qiyana. They are able to get the kill. Let's see what Clutch do with it. That's a mid lane plate for Bjergsen and a dragon number 2 for Clutch.
And more mobility going to be coming through. It's a second Cloud Dragon here, so they are going to be very, very quick moving around this map, which will make TSM have to play that much more carefully in those side lanes. And when you think about Corki, champion that loves to be out in the side lanes later on in the game, this does make it that much more difficult, knowing that you could get run down by some of these Clutch Gaming members.
Also, while the first step was completed by TSM, getting the Rift Herald, you also need to find an opportunity to use it before 14 minutes. So that comes from either tracking the enemy jungler, then using on the opposite side so you have an extra person there, or pulling off a pick and then allowing yourself to be in range of the turret plates when you want to cash in on that money. If you don't and that timing expires, then Clutch are much happier with their end of the bargain where they've got the double Cloud Drakes and you have the Rift Herald with no turret plate cash in.
And you can really just see the kind of priority that's being put for these 2 different teams, right? You look at this line of vision across here for Huni trying to protect that area. And then TSM, it's all about this top side kind of line of wards across the map. Both teams setting up on opposite sides trying to protect around where they want to play, right? TSM had the vision up on the top side, gets the Rift Herald. Clutch has on the bottom side, is protecting Huni's split push and grabbing that dragon. And it will be this Rift Herald getting dropped, but 20 seconds till plates fall. I think he'll probably get up. Yeah, it should. It's going to get a charge.
Let's see if anyone's in range, because you have to be very close. Bjergsen's making a beeline for it. He's got the money.
He says thank you very much. Package as well for him. He's got the biscuits. See if he makes a trick happen. Going to be one more plate on that turret. It will fall without going down, but it does not matter. They got quite a bit of gold out of that. Equal money on the scoreboard along with kills and turrets. What a final game 5 to have as a start.
Yeah, certainly very, very close thus far. And like you called out, Kobe, that is a mistake we actually see in Pro a fair bit. People dropping the Rift Herald, but if you've not recently auto-attacked the Rift Herald and you're not quite close to the turret, no one gets the gold. That just gets thrown in the garbage. So Bjergsen, understanding this, moves up and essentially gets himself a full kill worth of gold.
Yeah, your general rule is you want to get as close as Shelly is when she's doing the charge to be able to be in range if you haven't autoed the turret, and you will get the payout. Let's see if this turns into anything on top side. TSM and Bjergsen are moving up there.
Glass cone separates Damonte. Vulcan doesn't want to be there anymore now, knowing he lost his partner in crime. Damonte should be able to guard the turret. Supreme display of talent seems to be up for him if he wants to fire back, but no backs against the walls for TSM. Looks like top will go down in favor of TSM as they're moving in power and numbers right now to keep themselves safe.
Yeah, and Clutch had no play going on elsewhere to actually punish this, right? It's a 4-man move from TSM up on the top side. Huni was actually resetting during that time. And since they actually tried to move up and stop this, they're not even losing turret damage in the mid lane at the same time. Huni does now have a very good buy, though. Again, quick to that Triforce here, and is on the Executioners as well. So Huni going to be running that 1v1 if he can actually get some space to work. But he's not so far ahead that you can just bully Aatrox under a turret.
think right now, Clutch need to have a very high priority on having Damonte roam with someone like Lira or Huni, trying to create a play there and get that pick off. He's got Moby Boots with double Cloud Drakes. Like, they are so fast right now. If they're able to rotate quickly to the side lane, you push the minion wave, then you move on over. Anybody in the game at this stage without a stopwatch, which is only Bjergsen right now, is definitely a viable target for that combination. There's just too much CC and burst damage. At level 11, you know, Qiyana getting that level 2 ultimate is a kill if they just catch you out anywhere near terrain.
Yeah, and I think we actually might see Damonte going for that sort of play. You know, he just has his stopwatch now, so he can look to play very aggressively, you know, set up pretty well for that. And yeah, that move speed is actually ridiculous, moving around the map.
Gotta love it. A little bit more passive speed, as you're saying, from everything else, along with the Cloud Drakes. Gotta go fast is the name of the game for him. And we saw him doing it before on the Nico to find very tricky spots to engage from. With that much speed, it won't be that much harder to find those openings to engage again.
It's interesting because the speed also makes it easier for them to run away from the Skarner. We just saw Predator popped from Spica looking for a pick on the Skarner. He does, you know, get his Spire here and get some control for TSM back around the Dragon that's about to spawn. 40 seconds on this Infernal, so they are setting up for the Infernal Dragon, trying to put a stop to the Chain Dragons of Clutch. And they have a lot of good tools to work with here. Skarner probably wants the ultimate on the Tahm Kench and actually just draw him in. You can combine a Skarner and Braum very effectively in a team fight where Skarner pulls back the Tahm Kench and Braum jumps forward with the Unbreakable to section off the rest of the enemy team, allowing you to focus fire him down.
I do have to say, I really like how Cody Sun is actually using the Living Artillery to just be checking all these brushes, you know, using that as that scouting tool. But TSM maybe going in here. Lira gets pulled back.
Stasis for him. Vanguard's Edge kind of deters TSM. The fight's not really going to go through as we see the Fisher come back. And now the defense starts with a bit of offense from TSM. Lira trying to get out of this fight as Damonte and him are very, very low. Cody Sun really was not able to sit there and just throw off the damage.
Yeah, the damage is done to Damonte. He's got to go back to base. TSM have won the Dragon off of that skirmish.
Yeah, TSM's positioning was just so much better. Yep. You're trying to funnel through this slim corridor with Braum ultimate layered down, with Braum, you know, with the shield up, blocking a lot of the damage, and two marksmen standing behind him, able to fire on anyone who comes forward. So, you know, not a winnable fight really from that positioning that Clutch had, and TSM rightfully will grab that Infernal, and very likely this turret as well.
Huni? Ooh, getting the flash out of a 2v1 situation. They don't know what is behind Huni, so he kind of plays a mental game there with Bjergsen and Broken Blade and gets a good summoner.
Yeah, Huni is such an aggressive player. You never know. Is he trying to 1v2 us right now? Because he could very well believe that he could take that 1v2 all by himself.
Is he baiting us, or is he baiting himself?
Or does he have teammates there? Right now he's got Damonte. Damonte's got his eyes on Bjergsen. Will they dive for this?
Oh, he sees that ward was just placed. That actually gives it away from Spica. Good call by Damonte to notice the timing on that one, as well as the Dust Blade, giving him a privy information. Quickly clears up the minions here. And what a slower paced game, but you can see the same intentions from each team. They're continuously in each other's face. They're not stopping these fights. They continue to test each other.
Yeah, and you can tell sometimes in these game fives, in these all-important games, teams become a little bit more passive. They're very nervous to actually be the ones to make that final mistake. You know, this is going to be one of those games, win or lose, that you remember for a very long time. And I do think you still have to maintain that killer instinct, especially when you are playing something like the Qiyana. You're facing over against the Corki. You don't want this Corki to just be chilling, farming, and trading farm with it. You gotta make plays.
You're so right with that mentality about they'll remember the game stays. I was just reading an article from Broken Blade that says there really isn't a day goes by when he doesn't think they should have won spring. So that mentality does stick. Becomes difficult. Obviously, he's not going to let him tear down any game. Broken Blade always playing to that top caliber, but it means a lot to get these victories when they count for these players.
Clutch trying to stall for time for Huni to finish up on the bottom tower. Broken Blade gets here in time, though, and both of them have teleports. The map is definitely balanced right now, and they're just trying to finish out the resets here. What's Kaiser grabbing for Sven? Doesn't even have a completion.
Yeah, we do see the QSS coming through from Huni. And if you're looking to teamfight whatsoever, it's really a must-have for these melee champions. You're diving in onto the Skarner, so you have to have the ability to actually continually move around in these teamfights. As that's so much of Irelia's survivability is actually dodging out of these fights.
Yeah, last time we saw Tahm Kench Devour being used on him to get him out of safety, but there are so many priority targets. Tahm Kench also has to be watching the Qiyana and the Kog'Maw, so they want to get at least one more answer out of them. Tahm Kench with a QSS, of course, means that Vulcan can be up there and devour somebody and being able to QSS himself if he's the target.
And you can take a look at this buy here from Bjergsen. He actually has the full chain vest. So I'm not sure if he's going to complete his GA right now or just sit on the chain vest stopwatch to be able to counteract the lethality that will be built up here by Damonte. But I think it's actually a very intelligent buy when you're looking at Irelia, Jarvan, and Qiyana. Those are three champions that are going to want to try to dive onto you and zero you out. And just having that chain vest alone really does mitigate such a tremendous amount of damage that even if he just goes into SB or IE or whatever from here, sitting on that is a great efficient buy.
Cody Sun gonna back. We'll see what he gets in his inventory. We do have a stacked up Muramana now for the side of Zven. He's feeling pretty great. We'll have to see where they decide to go now. Huni's holding off on this turret. He knows it's a bit scary with that 6th sense down, but he's still gonna try to go in. Broken Blade doesn't seem to want it too much as he wants to get Huni off the turret before Spica comes in. They call out Spica as he's got aggro right away on this. Flag drag over the wall possibly. He's got the blast cone to do it, but Lira holds. As Clutch is being very tentative on their engages, knowing when they have aggression on the position.
Yeah, didn't have much of a way to kind of continue to follow up on that. And I do think that the game state is just favoring TSM more and more, right? They're sitting on the Infernal, they're scaling up their Corki, and it will be just sitting on the chain vest for Bjergsen as he picks up the call field. So he'll be going S3 per second here. So I think TSM are very comfortable with this passive play style. And Clutch, I feel like I've lost a little bit of their aggressive edge. You know, perhaps with so much on the line, not feeling confident to pull the trigger here. And you know, Damonte, you're sitting on Moby Boots as kind of this early mid-game style of champion that wants to be making things happen.
Well, I think this dragon is going to give us our answer here. They're trying to keep some vision on Baron while it takes place, but this is going to be the setup. There's already a lot of wards in place for Clutch this time around. Will TSM just brute force? Last time around, they move in, get the Skarner Spire is very important to start out with so that Spica can have that extra move speed. He grabs it now. Qiyana looking for the flank, though.
Oh, they're actually, I think, trying to set a trap here. Draw Broken Blade down to defend the turret and then kill him off if he comes here by himself.
Wait, Huni wasted his stun, though.
Worth the CS. Hashtag worth. Getting out of Infernal Chains there. Dragon's going to be started up. This Mountain Drake will be your first of the game. 2 so far in Cloud in favor of Clutch. 1 Infernal for TSM. And the Dragon is started up.
They have a ward. TSM sees the Qiyana flank, so Broken Blade goes to head him off. They get the Dragon.
Still looking for the engage. Glacial Fisher goes back. Flag and drag in. They're going to be on to Smoothie. He should go down in this fight as Bjergsen tries to fire in the balls from the outside on that. Vanguard's edge goes in. And Damonte and Huni and the rest of the team are going to try to do all the damage they can now to TSM. A great answer back by Zven with the killer instinct, the Cathian Rain. Lira beautifully cataclysms out of that to keep himself safe. Damonte on the stasis. He's going to be able to
Cody Sun!
grab the Terror. No, he doesn't have the Q up, and Cody Sun comes up big with the Kog'Maw.
Woo! It exploded with all summoners and all stopwatches used in that dragon fight. Everybody popping off, and Cody Sun flashing forward on the Kog'Maw is the winner of it all. Red buff, and he's going to be able to take the tower. Here's another look how it started. Broken Blade flanked around and try and head off Damonte, but then Lira engages on the other side of it, past the Braum ultimate for the whole team. Smoothie is the first of the stopwatches, and he times it out, then flashes away, but Huni follows.
Yeah, Huni's going to be diving in. One of the critical things here, Cody Sun already had his Rage Blade stacked on the Dragon before the fight even started. So he sits back, he waits for that W cooldown to come back up, and then he knows, you're going for Damonte, I am going for you. Flashing in. Kog'Maw, unrivaled as far as pure damage output if you can free fire like that.
Yeah, Lira goes for the re-engage. Damonte gets the snare there for him, but doing all the work from the back line. It's when your best defense is a good offense there. Everybody creating chaos in front of you, and the Kog'Maw just gets the auto and move on forward. Huni's got a stun from the brush, but there's a package.
Flawless duet in with the charge, and yeah, you're right, package. Good call on that, Kobe. Quickly getting that passive out of Bjergsen. and they are off and running to protect this bot lane turret. It should go down with a few more shots here. Broken Blade and Bjergsen.
Yeah, a lot of TSM members were cheating down towards the bot lane. Even the bot lane duo was moving down there. And this is Clutch on the top side of the map, having the opening. You have to respect Kog'Maw's Baron killing potential. With the Rage Blade, with the W, and a Mountain Dragon here, they can two-man that. So TSM has got to pay a lot of attention and not send too many members down to get Huni.
And there is still a stopwatch on Bjergsen here. He actually was able to flash away and never used the stopwatch in that last team fight. So while there isn't a lot of surprise factor, there still are a couple things that you really have to check inventory for this team fight, because this is the big one. Baron available to the Victor. Clutch Gaming already with full vision control over the Baron, and TSM have to get something down.
They're going to start it. They're assuming that TSM is going to be sending members down to Huni. The blue trinket just expired. Spica's going to have to check this, and this is going down fast.
Huni's coming up from the bottom side of the map. The only one with flash right now is Vulcan from the fight last time. Spica has to Zanya's. Huni's going to be on the backside of the fight with Vanguard's Edge. He's going in. The Quicksilver Assassin is going to keep him alive for a little bit longer, and he does take down Spica. The rest of the team is going to, or Huni goes down, sorry, as Spica goes down, and the rest of the team is going to continue fighting as Smoothie falls quickly. Cody Sun's able to just put out so much DPS right now with the protection of the rest of the team. And Huni having the flank there really offset TSM.
Yeah, they can start Baron again potentially here. It looks like they're not comfortable to do it, but I mean, they have a lifesteal on Cody Sun, and it's 2 members down from TSM. But they are going to play this a little bit safer. Broken Blade has to be careful.
Coming back in, TSM doesn't want to give up too much ground on any of the minion waves, as they really need to do some ward duty here. They realize it as the fight went down in this area. It was a ward. It was a ward war, and it was a war of champions. We'll see it one more time right here.
Okay, so they turned on Spica. Lira uses everything to keep him in the Cataclysm. Meanwhile, there's 2 flanks here. Huni on the right, Damonte on the left, and it completely pulls the team apart, allowing Clutch to focus fire down both Smoothie and Spica in exchange for Huni's life, getting the 2-for-1. Meanwhile, Damonte, Drew, Bjergsen, and Broken Blade, both solo laners of TSM, off to the other side of it. That being said, it is a very small victory, only with an extra kill going over. So it's very much about the setup once again as they try and move into the river.
Yeah, one thing to note is the added TP advantage right now for Clutch. They do have that TP on Huni. Bjergsen will have to match him because his is up. Cody Sun's is available as well, but that is somewhat less impactful. I do love the Hurricane buy here. There are 3 melee champions on the side of TSM, and very, very effective. When you are actually hitting those Hurricane bolts on multiple members, you are going to be putting out insane damage, and Clutch can continue to just threaten to start up this Baron. TSM has to check it non-stop, knowing that it could just be shredded down.
Possible fight coming up here.
Nice poke.
Very good big bomb from Bjergsen there as he fires out a missile. You see him charging up just under his health. Void Seeker's coming out as well with a bit of the poke that can be offered here from the side of TSM. Now onto that middle turret. They're looking for an inhibitor next in the mid lane on the side of Clutch.
Yeah, the biggest value there is the poke onto Huni. Irelia needs full HP to be able to start this out. Huni does not have a stopwatch. He does not have anything to survive inside of that team fight. So with him at half health, Clutch Gaming cannot fight it, and TSM earned themselves a tower by poking him down.
You can see, though, TSM spending so much time actually grouped up that, despite the early laning phase going even, CS advantages are opening up quite a lot. Huni is spending time pushing out the side lane waves, while Broken Blade is often, grouping and then retreating to that side lane to try to defend the towers. So this is putting him more and more behind. We'll see if any sort of side lane advantage does eventually open up, but Damonte now laying a trap here for Broken Blade here. He's going to face check.
Heading in, good stun up, a little bit of follow-up damage from the terrain. Oh, Cataclysm as well. They throw everything in the kitchen sink at Broken Blade.
Is this going to be the pick that turns around Baron? They've got full vision control. No top laner for TSM. No teleport on that top laner either. They've got to worry about checking this. 2 recalls for Clutch. They don't have a teleport on Damonte, but they've got a lot of movement speed on him.
Yeah, thankfully for them, TSM had some wards around this area that actually spotted the Kog'Maw. And as long as you see the Kog'Maw, you can pretty safely assume that they're not actually going for the Baron. Qiyana and the Irelia aren't great at actually knocking that down.
Yeah, Kog'Maw is the Baron killing damage here. See if they can get right back out and clear these control wards. Bottom side being pushed quickly by Huni. Once again, level 16 here. Huni, he's tied with Bjergsen, basically. You're talking about the farm kind of differences. It's basically been top lane and mid lanes traded. TSM have been funneling their farm into Bjergsen here, whereas Qiyana's been roaming around looking for those plays, and Bjergsen is the level 16 hope for TSM on their side.
You can also see Cody Sun here going for a very aggressive build. He's actually working towards the IE on the Kog'Maw. A lot of times you'll see kind of this 3 core items, then people go a bit more defensive. He feels like with Vulcan behind him, you know, having the QSS on that Tahm Kench, the exhaust on the Tahm Kench, he can go for maximum damage.
And not even trying to, he's the KDA player for Clutch. This is the guy that stays alive while going in with Killer Instinct, engaging with his arcane shift. So why not put him on the Kog'Maw, who has to stay alive in the fights? 402, a 700 gold bounty. We're going to be on to Baron.
Yeah, TSM has to start this because Irelia is unchecked on the bottom side. Is Huni not going to TP?
Lira over the wall once again to possibly get that. Glacial Fisher comes out. Cody can sit in the back. He did just lose his support, though. His
Here's
comes up with a kill.
Damonte.
Damonte on the right side.
Whip.
That's going to whiff the ultimate, and now they have to go back in. A good kill coming in. 1-2 now on the side of Clutch. Cody's able to get some space. There's another one coming in on the broken blade. It's Zven running for the hills, but it's not going to be enough. Clutch Gaming almost wiped TSM at Baron.
Spica's the only hope. He's got flash on Skarner. Can he go steal this one
Oh
before?
my God, he has to be the hero. Is he going? Oh, he tries it. You can't fault him for it. But Lira comes up with the smite.
Kobe just had a heart attack there.
That has happened to me so many times.
You're like, not again. You're not in the game, Kobe. You're okay, bud.
All right,
But
guys,
here it is.
again.
Yeah, this is all about Cody Sun. It's a great turn here onto Vulcan. Vulcan just gets shredded. Damonte whiffs the ult here as well, but who cares? Kog'Maw's unchecked. Look at him just shredding through the Hurricane Bolts coming out. You give him about 2 seconds free firing on those carries, and they are wiped from the map. Cody Sun, absurdly strong right now, and he has been the hero here. And this is it one more time. Spica flashing in.
It's in there.
Oh.
It was 4:35 I saw, so that could have been either
That was
one.
close.
Oh man, that is a clincher. But Clutch Gaming, Game 5, they are on the inhibitor turret.
They got the Baron minions, so the other ones aren't going to get too close as that Siege is clapping down on the damage. Broken Blade trying to get in for a few more hits with World Ender on. Vanguard's Edge is going to stop TSM from
Because
getting
so
it.
low.
This is their base getting taken apart now. Inhibitor's definitely going down, and it's Clutch inside the base looking to make dreams come true.
And they're pushing bot lane as well. They're going to look for a second inhibitor here. It was a split call. Broken Blade wanted to go in because the Infernal Chains pulled back Cody Sun and he had no flash, but they couldn't get through the Vanguard's Edge there from Huni. And Clutch now are one fight away from Worlds.
TSM on the front steps. They won't give him for free, and they will push Clutch off just a little bit. You do have a minute and a Mountain Drake, but you don't want to lose this pressure just for a Drake.
The #1 problem TSM have to solve, how are they going to deal with this Kog'Maw? Nobody can get back there. The turret's going down.
Already onto Broken Blade, 3 or 4 shots from Bio Arcane Barrage. That's the W. 8 seconds up, 8 seconds down, a 16-second cooldown. It almost seems like he has it all the time since he uses it through that cooldown. And Cody Sun is making damn good use of his damage in every fight on the targets he needs to. 13-6, your second inhibitor is broken in TSM's base by Clutch. As they may stay for the final touches, there's 3 kills. It's going to be TSM going down. The first Nexus turret is going to be in Clutch's eyes. A second year that they will miss it. Damonte already out of his seat. And North America, put your hands together for your final World's representative, Clutch Gaming.
They will clean it up. Clutch make the reverse sweep happen here in the gauntlet. They are headed to Europe and they are ecstatic.
What a game from both teams. The reverse sweep has been completed by Clutch. A tough fashion that they did it in. The only other team now to make it through 2 Worlds through the regional qualifier besides Cloud9. A lot of firsts for this team and a lot of high fives down the line for this Clutch Gaming team.
Huni, the first player to make Worlds in 3 different regions. He made it in Europe, he made it in Korea. Now finally, Huni has accomplished that goal of making Worlds in North America. People thought it would have happened years ago with him on Immortals, so dominant. but it comes from the unlikeliest of teams. It comes from this Clutch Gaming team that was counted out so many times and has battled back and improved week in, week out to just barely scrape by TSM here.
And I think everybody deserves a nod for Clutch. Look at how much it means to Lira around hugging the rest of his teammates, the camaraderie right now and everything that this squad went through in staff changes throughout the season to find what they needed now to be on the world stage.
The emotion on both sides of the field here. Everybody pouring their hearts out into this series.
Absolutely devastating for TSM. Fought their hearts out. You can see the improvement that they had over these past weeks of practice. Certainly a tighter series here against Clutch, but just not quite enough from TSM.
Clutch had what a run through the regional qualifier, having to get a victory in every game, showing each team what they were capable of and still able to pull out all the stops. I got to give a lot of props to, as I said, everyone. Cody Sun bringing out multiple champions when the team needs something different, but everybody able to organize around a different champion in the moment. That's actually hard for a team to do. You can put something else in, but people have to know how to play around it.
And they have played in a lot of high-pressure situations now. You talked about the practice earlier on playoff stage, Riv.
Yeah.
This team is putting it into overdrive and definitely putting overtime in.
And they're going to have a lot more games to play because they'll be going to play-ins at Worlds. So they're going to have all of that ramp up as well, you know, and we'll get to see how they perform there and how much they can learn and grow, you know, when playing against some of these other teams from around the world.
A fantastic play all around. We'll have an interview with the players shortly, obviously, to see what their thoughts are, thoughts from the State Farm analyst desk. But to recap the series, to get a best of 5 out of this, when the reverse sweep is what happened before, Clutch wanted that revenge, and it's absolutely amazing to see all that come to fruition here today in a Game 5 for us. For more on how he booked his first trip to Worlds, Avali is standing by for a little bit of Tanner time.
Thanks, guys. Damonte, you guys just took down TSM and qualified for Worlds, and it wasn't just a normal series. You pulled off the reverse sweep, so just tell me what's going on in your head right now.
I mean, holy shit. I don't know. This is surreal. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this split, there's just been so much shit that us as a team has had to go through. So much shit I feel like I've had to go through, and I mean, it feels crazy. I don't know, it's just crazy.
Well, I know, and this is clearly an emotional moment for you and all of Clutch, but I just want to say, regardless of your performance at Worlds this year, Clutch Gaming has already accomplished so much just over this entire year, going from 9th place all the way to qualifying for Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, just huge shout out to Dignitas, our CEO, Michael Prindivil. Like, this guy, he came in, he changed the entire atmosphere of our team. We went from having like this like team atmosphere of like, yeah, we're just playing LCS. Like, if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. And now it's like, we're here to win. We're here to like actually do good. You know, like we're going to Worlds.
Yeah, buddy.
And I spoke with you yesterday, and you said that you were incredibly motivated to take down TSM after the scrim disrespect that they had showed you earlier in the week. But you told me that Clutch Gaming wasn't the only team that you were aiming to take TSM down for. You told me that there was someone else that you were trying to win this for.
I mean, it's a little BM, but I mean, obviously I got to do it for my boy Cadian.
And I just want to take a second to look at the crowd right now, because there were people in TSM jerseys, there were people in Clutch and Dignitas jerseys, and yet the amount of support that we heard from Clutch Gaming fans was just overwhelming. So is there anything that you'd like to say to the fan base and maybe some of the fans that you have in the front of the stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's been absolutely insane. We got these people over here screaming Tanner time the whole entire time. Everyone, it's just, the support that Clutch has gotten is just absurd. I've never been on a team where the fans were so far behind us, and I'm so glad we could go to Worlds for you guys.
Well, Damonte, thank you, and congratulations again, and I am wishing you the best of luck moving on to Worlds. That is it for us here on the stage. Back to you guys at the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Congratulations to Clutch Gaming. 27 games in the postseason. They ran the entire gauntlet, and they have secured themselves a spot at the World Championship.
They got another split's worth of practice in one season.
Hey, we've seen what that can do for Cloud9. Just imagine what it can do for a team like this that is riding off of the momentum.
Yeah, the number of teams they had to beat to do it as well. 4 different teams along the way, I believe.
Right.
So that's just pretty much proving that they're the 3rd best team in North America. They've played Team Liquid as well. Took them to 5 games in a really close series. They've pretty much demonstrated hands down that they deserve to go.
There is no doubt in my mind that this is the right team to be sending as the 3rd team for the region. But I do want to identify how they were able to complete the reverse sweep here and close it out to book that trip, because this did not come easily for them, like many of their series before, and yet they persevered.
Yeah, and one of the things that was interesting about Game 5 was that they busted out a new pick for Cody Sun. He was never playing Kog'Maw in this season. Turns out, pretty good matchup into the Kai'Sa, and when you have a Kog'Maw that gets to build a Rage Blade and the Blade of the Ruined King, if he's left untouched, pretty sure you're going to win that fight.
Yeah, I think they have the Tahm Kench as well, because this is a very scrappy game around him. Aatrox, Irelia, Qiyana, Corki, Kai'Sa, everyone has all these insane gap closers and are very scary. Even the Skarner can sprint right at you. So very well done by Vulcan as well all throughout the year, and especially in the postseason, to step up alongside Cody Sun to make sure that they can win these games.
Now, we've already heard from Damonte. In just a bit, we will be able to hear from a couple more members of the victorious Clutch team. But, Meteos, I want to come to you here again on this 5th and final game. We saw TSM jump for the Skarner takeaway of all things. We talk about the new pick in the Kog'Maw for Cody, but we talk about the takeaway for the Skarner, and yet Lira was able to, to perform in this game without that signature pick. How do you feel about his performance in these waning games of the series?
I think Lira stepped it up a lot after the first couple games. I think that when he's been on Jarvan and when he was on Skarner, he played really well, and a lot of their early game advantages were off of his ganks.
Now, this is one of those moments you talk about with the Kog'Maw left unchecked in the back line. Even though Damonte doesn't connect with a couple of his spells, the damage is still there out of Cody Sun to take the big team fight around the Baron.
So decisive at the end. And I wanted to go back into your point about the Skarner, in that I felt like TSM taking that away was not playing to their own win condition. We kind of meme about every interview and every team. It's like, oh, yeah, we're just going to play our own game. We're playing our own game. Skarner is not TSM's game. That's Clutch Gaming's game. Sejuani is TSM's game.
Right. If you wanted to get rid of the Skarner, you think it would be better to actually just throw it on the ban table than make it a takeaway?
I really thought they were going to switch the Ezreal and Skarner, where they would ban Skarner and first pick Ezreal, but kind of wondering if some of it is just going back to, Game 5, Zven on Ezreal. It's been memed about a lot, but that can be something that, kind of gets in your head when you're in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, a Game 5 Ezreal ban versus Cody Sun is not something I think anyone would have expected heading into this series, and I'm still not even sure that it felt like the right thing to do. So it was a little surprising, but Cody Sun, insane run. This is his 3rd year in a row qualifying for Worlds. That is, I think, probably the only time that's ever happened, especially in North America. That's insane.
Yeah, no, it is. It is a remarkable achievement, and I think one that very few people would actually have been aware of if you were to not bring it up just now, because he is very much a player that has flown under the radar in a lot of cases. We'll come back to talk a little bit more about Clutch and their prospects towards Worlds, but let's go ahead and send it over to Avli for an interview with Clutch's top jungle duo.
Thanks, Dash. I got Huni and Lira over here. Guys, congratulations. Lira, I'm super excited to speak with you. We have Huni here to help with any communication. So, Huni, I do want to start with you. You're always so confident whenever we come into any of these series, but did you get a little bit nervous when you were forced into that position for the reverse sweep?
Honestly, really not, because I play really well in game 2. I was the 1D, we got this one, just confirm that we are all good to go for game 3, game 4, game 5. I just had some conversations with our teammates that our first goal is going to game 5, and the game 5 is gonna be coach's job that is we're gonna just outdraft, and I think we're just play really well around that.
And speaking of draft, tell me about that game 1 Pantheon, because a lot of people were interested in that.
Yeah, we practice a lot with the Pantheon that just really good into Sona TK, just either only pressure dive bottom, or just as a team fight, we want to explosive the team fight versus Sona TK, because Sona is of course is out-sustain one of the champion that really annoying if you're not actually killing first. And I think we actually played really play really good, like around Sona TK. Even though we were super behind, like early game we kind of messed up like lifters, those kind of stuff. Like would have been really bad. It would have been really good, and I wanted to just pull out the Pantheon before, like it was probably it was the last game of the rework to Pantheon. So that's why I think pull up, and it's just good. Like I also been practicing a lot, and pretty sure I've been playing Pantheon on the stage previously too. So I was really confident to play it.
Yeah, leave an impression with the old Pantheon. But Lira, I do want to ask you, what were you expecting in terms of competition today coming out from both Spica and TSM?
Like to me, I never lose against TSM on VO5 games, so I thought we were gonna win like pretty easily, but very hard. And then I thought after game 2, we are like they are better than us, but we were very solid. And then after game 3, we will win.
So tell me, what was this split like for you? Because we just talked with Damonte on stage, and he said that Clutch Gaming went through a lot of hardships. You guys went from 9th place in spring all the way to qualifying for Worlds today. So reflecting on this split, what were the high highs and the low lows for you?
Can I ask to Huni?
What was the biggest moment for Lira?
For this year?
Mm-hmm.
이번 가장 기억에 남는.
I think this moment, because I played for this moment like 6 years. Like I never been world, but now finally I got chance to play on world stage, and then I want to prove who are we. Yes.
You want to prove who you are. You want to prove you are Lira from Clutch Gaming.
No, just our team, not me.
Not you, just Clutch Gaming. That's so modest. Is there anything that you'd like to say about Lira, since he won't talk himself up?
Sorry, what?
Do you want to praise Lira for anything? He's being too modest, too humble.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I'm gonna prove I'm the best top laner in 2019 at worst.
Talk about Lira. That's what I'm saying.
Probably Lira.
I mean, like
we're gonna best you with the Lira.
I think fans want here. I want to show NA jungler is better than EU junglers.
Ooh, I like that. Is there?
I think it's enough.
Is there anyone in mind that you're trying to call out?
I don't care whoever, but I want to prove about that.
That's strong.
Like every region, NA junglers is like kind of bad players, but I don't think so.
You're going to prove that NA junglers are to be reckoned with. Okay, well, that being said, you are moving on to Worlds. Are there any teams or any players? You said that you want to look at EU junglers. Is there a team in specific? Do you want to take on G2 Jankos? Do you want to take on Broxa?
Yes, I want to meet both guys, and I want to show about Clutch Gaming winning against them.
All right, I'm sure all the Clutch Gaming fans are very excited to see that. Huni, same question for you. Before we go, who are you excited to play against moving into Worlds?
I think, of course, first of all, Fnatic, and second of all, is going to be SKT. I wish we can have same group, and it's going to be pretty fun.
Now, you've actually represented so many different regions. So is representing NA, is that the best?
It's not the best, but I mean, it could have been better, honestly. Like, when I was at SKT, I went with the 2nd seed, and then when I was at Fnatic, I won actually the summer finals. So it was the 1st seed, and this is my first time as going 3rd seed. So kind of like nervous. Like the group is not gonna be like easy as much as when I was at before. So I need to see the group, but for sure I would like to bid Kog'Maw. I think I said last year when I was at Fox, like I really wanted to beat SKT and then make sure Kog'Maw be mad to his teammates or his player.
Okay, so then that being said, you guys do have to go through play-ins. Is that something that you're worried about, or are you excited for that?
I'm really excited to see it. I really want to make Kog'Maw mad, and I'm gonna crash the con and clear. I think we can, right?
Yes, NA jungler and top best.
NA jungler top best. Both of you guys, congratulations. Best of luck to you getting into preparation to going into play-ins. And Kog'Maw, you better watch out because these two are coming for you. Dash, please take it away. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aubrey. That may have been the greatest interview of all time. Lira, going to the World Championship for the first time in his career, said he's been trying to get to this moment, this point here for 6 years. And I think it is important to recognize this man's career and how at so many different points throughout his career, he has been recognized for individual skill or greatness, you know, all the way back to the Envy days. And that due to any number of factors, he just was never equipped necessarily with everything he needed to make it. And here he has overcome that in a 5-game series.
Things did not line up for his teams before. It really felt like there was always something missing, a deficiency in a player or in the management or wherever. And now that Clutch Gaming has come in and really restructured everything in the last half of the split, it has been exactly what Lira was looking for. And it's really nice to see that his most memorable moment of the year was actually just now.
I mean, it's really cool that he had like 2 opposite years on Clutch Gaming. The first year, it was a great spring split. They took down TSM. It was fantastic. And then they kind of tanked out in summer. It's the opposite. They started 10th this spring, made that one roster move for Cody, and then they take down TSM to actually get to Worlds. It's actually such an insane story for Lira.
Very cool story. When it came to booking a trip to Worlds, though, the player most crucial in stringing together the all-important 3 wins was Huni, Clutch's player of the series.
The only man to win and get to Worlds in 3 different regions.
Huni played great this series.
He played phenomenally in this series, very deserving of this award. I'm going to reiterate what Mark just said. The only player in the history of competitive League of Legends to qualify to Worlds in 3 different regions: Europe, Korea, North America.
And that's why the 2 teams he wants to face are Fnatic and SKT, the former 2 teams. He wants to make everybody mad, to be like, you know what, there's a reason why I'm here. And that is just so awesome because his confidence just, you can tell it seeps through everybody else, but he's got a fire in his own that I'm just so curious about, because why does he want to make Kog'Maw so mad?
I mean, because Kog'Maw made him play Maokai for an entire year, Crumb. That's why.
Yeah, but I just love how it's a different story this time around as the underdog. I feel like that kind of suits Huni so well as like a scrappy player to come in as the underdog, not on like the, you know, buttoned up SKT favorite look. I really like the look of Clutch as that kind of wild dark horse.
I feel like Huni never sees himself as the underdog, though. One thing
that's true.
One thing that's really respectful about Huni
smash Khan.
Like, he always is so confident through the highs and the lows, and it's great to see. Really happy that he made it.
But I think that veteran, you know, aspect is going to be very important for this squad because, again, you have Damonte, who you can see the excitement on his face around the idea that he now gets to go represent us, you know, on the world stage, but also kind of the trepidation and anxiety that comes with that. You know, never having been on a stage that large, Lira will be in the same position, and so it will be Cody Sun and Huni, of all people, who need to step up and lend that kind of support to the rest of the squad. And to some degree, maybe that's why the play-in stage will be a blessing. They do get that opportunity, just like here in the Gauntlet, to really ramp themselves into the competition.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Damonte is going to be the first North American mid since Pobelter to qualify for Worlds, like, that is pretty crazy. It's been a really long time since we've had one, you know, really step up, and you can see how much it means to him. He was seemingly on the verge of tears of joy after, you know, taking down TSM in the reverse sweep. So really excited to see him, and he probably will need a shoulder or two to lean on with how crazy play-ins can get.
A fantastic showing from Clutch today. Ahead of the draw show, though, let's go ahead and take a look at the teams who Clutch may face as we look towards Worlds. This is all of the qualified Worlds teams up to this point, so not all of them would make an appearance, of course, in the play-in stage, but you've got some of the big favorites like G2 and Fnatic from Europe, as well as SKT and the likes of RNG and some of the other Chinese squads.
Yeah, Fun Plus Phoenix, the champions of the LPL. This team is so good mechanically and has such a ridiculous champion pool when you have Noemi playing Nautilus middle and all these kinds of champions.
The entire LPL region right now, very exciting to watch play when it comes to the meta and the different champion picks. Again, earlier in the week, you know, citing the lack of Kaisas did appear a bit today here in North America, but a high priority pick in both Korea and the LPL.
I would love to see Huni get to face off against SKT and Fnatic, his former teams.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
He said that would be quite an interesting group, right? Is that even...
It could be possible. SKT's first, Fnatic got second.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Fnatic has to play against the third place team to figure out if they're second or third.
Oh, you're right.
So that has to happen.
Yeah. But assuming a Fnatic victory there, they would be a second seed. So that actually is a potential group that we could get, and boy, would that be spicy. General thoughts then, gentlemen, on the 3 teams that we are sending to Worlds as North American representatives.
Honestly, TL is my biggest thought. I have all my hopes on Team Liquid. I think everybody else I'm looking at for entertainment.
You're going to discount C9, the perennial North American international performers? 5-game series versus TL?
A little bit more than TL is like all the eggs are riding on the TL basket. So I think that all the hopes are on this team to perform. Everybody else, as far as they get, you're like, oh, great job. Whereas Team Liquid, we're looking at this team to really make it all the way. And nobody else has that pressure on them.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think we have two baskets, C9 and TL, and I think we have like the spoon with the one egg on it, and that's Clutch Gaming, just like trying to make some stuff happen. I think they have a decent chance to get through playing stage, and then they have that kind of explosive, well-practiced play style that not everyone is quite used to with some like the Rumble priority and things like that, they could probably find some wins off teams in group stage.
I'm really interested to see how Clutch does, because one thing that's usually happened to North American teams at Worlds is, you know, just being too uptight, too tense, you know, just trying to play to not lose, very reserved play. But Clutch has proven, you know, again and again in this postseason that they're just an extremely aggressive team. And I don't see that changing too much going into Worlds. You know, being in a Game 5 isn't that much different pressure-wise than just a game at Worlds, so I think they'll be good.
They could improve so much off that European boot camp where they just scrap all the time, right? A month there practicing, I think they might actually expand the champion pool and evolve.
Yeah, that's another very interesting development kind of in the international scene, is that a lot of teams this year will be looking to boot camp in Europe as opposed to Korea, you know, as has been tradition in the past. And so even just how the solo queue environments, you know, kind of breed or change tendencies. And again, we talk about those regional metas. What will our teams pick up in that next month's worth of time will be very interesting to track. That said, we now have a little bit of a waiting game until we get to see our teams perform on the World stage. Make sure you tune in to the World's Draw Show Monday, September 23rd at 7 a.m. Pacific to see if that SKT, Fnatic, and Clutch Gaming group could be a possibility. After we sign off, though, the LEC rebroadcast goes live where they crowned their summer split champion. Thank you, Meteos, so much for joining us here today. It's always a pleasure. And now for myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you for the start of Worlds. Good night.
TSM has had a month to prepare for their revenge against Clutch Gaming. Meanwhile, Clutch coming hot off that win over CLG, getting some revenge of their own. Let's get it!
Lira goes down. Who's going to be getting the Rift Herald now? And it is going to Broken Blade. Oh, Damonte! Damonte's in there, and he's going to be getting a few. That's Zven going down as well as Bjergsen.
Let's kill Sage. We need to kill Sage. If Jace walks up, we gotta kill Jace.
Slow, guys, slow. We win this.
Win this. Go slow, go slow. Look at Nico, run. Nice.
TSM are looking for the base.
Yep, that is going to be game number 1.
A 3v2 on the top side. Lira, a sliver from going down. Smoothie's all the way from the bot lane, coast to coast. And he comes up with his second kill of the game. Now Damonte's going to go down as Spica runs himself to safety.
They're trolling so hard. Look at Dino flash ult. Let's go, Cody. We can do better, I think. Lori. They're inting. Let's go.
Play with Esper.
Play with Esper.
Yeah. Elise flash.
Yeah.
Nice. I actually can't believe that game. It looked like TSM had thrown it, but they do close it out. They're at match point.
One game at a time. Take a deep breath.
This is it. This is the best of one.
Back to the best of ones. Right, let's play the best of one. Let's kill one Nexus.
Now it's going to be a quick fight here. Spica could go down. Spica lives. He gets the HP back as well.
Nice. Min.
I don't know if it's going to be enough. Clutch has already taken the front end damage that they're going to. A Broken Blade has to sheath the sword. Clutch looks to keep the series alive.
Sage.
Yeah, Sage on your ult. Careful left side, don't go to that. We're fighting. It's not bad for us here. We win.
Here comes Damonte. Glacial Prison in his hands. They're going to get one kill there, and he uses it to take down the rest of TSM.
Game number 5, Silver Scrapes. Here we go once again.
1-2 now on the side of Clutch. Cody's able to get some space. There's another one coming in on the Broken Blade. It's Zven running for the hills, but it's not going to be enough. North America, put your hands together for your final World's representative, Clutch Gaming!